Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm a PA in the Immersion Department in High Point, North Carolina. Today we will be discussing the article entitled The Adult Learner, a Mythical Species by Jeffrey Norman. So basically, this article written by Norman is a critique of a very well-known article that was written by Malcolm Knowles entitled The Adult Learner and Neglected Species. And basically, to understand about what Norman was discussing, we have to know about what Knowles discussed in his original article. So the importance of the novel was noted that as individuals mature, self-concept moves from dependency to a self-directedness. Knowles also hypothesized that individuals mature as the individual matures, the individual accumulates experiences causing a rich learning resource. As individuals mature, readiness to learn is not due to a biological development or an academic pressure, but more due to developmental tasks. And adults have a problem-centered orientation to learning. So Norman states some issues with the text that was written by Knowles, basically saying that Knowles never did any kind of experiment to prove his theories. He actually never even calls them theories because they were never used with any kind of experiments. Knowles never states at which age this actually occurs. Norman discusses that possibly it was between age 16 and 24, but again, there was no experiments ever done. The differences theorized about human mental development has very little basis in science. We still don't know a lot about specifically at what time frame the human mind begins to develop and truly mature. Norman states that the reason why adults have a self-directed learning characteristic is due to their multiple responsibilities in life. Not really because their mind chooses to, but more because of their pressures in life, their little free time, that adults then choose to do self-directed learning. So what is the basis of self-directed learning? It's that all as individuals have unique needs and aspirations, strengths and weaknesses. For learners to be self-directed learners, they must first identify their own weaknesses. Norman then states that as medical students, they do a terrible job of doing self-assessment, and he states a couple different experiments that prove that. And so they cannot be good at self-directed learning. Norman states that it's human nature for us to suppress our inadequacies. Medicine is very different in that we have to know everything. And, the base of self-directed learning is that the learner chooses what they really want to explore and how deep. And, Norman states, well, that can't be the case with medicine because we have to know everything and have a general knowledge of everything. So traditional versus self-directed learning and kind of the comparison, Norman states that with self-directed learning, the skills are obtained by traditional learning students. In residency years, self-directed students do the same as traditional learning students on a national board level and on a pass rate. A study found that self-directed students maintain their knowledge at a little bit higher level 10 years after instruction compared to traditional students, but yet that difference was only 6%. They actually, in the study, talked about testing their knowledge on hypertension, and they only got one question right more than traditional learning students. And of high school students, it was found that SAT scores declined in students who did self-directed learning versus traditional classroom teaching. So, final thoughts for this. Norman believes that self-directed learning is not a theory for learning unless it's undergone experiments. Norman believes that self-directed learning should be used in moderation and not for an entire curriculum. Self-directed learning can be worrisome and it gives the learner absolute control of their own learning needs. So I thought this article was really interesting because I think we do see a big push into the PBL and the self-directed learning, and this kind of took a different approach to it, which I appreciated. And here are my references.